Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of FooTea Fantasy where we discuss football and FPL over a cup of tea. I'm your host Shouvik and I'm joined by my co-host Shourav. Shourav, how are you doing? You were on a holiday. How was it and how are you doing now?
Yeah, it's been quite a nice break, and this weekend has been quite good for football, especially in terms of the title race. How about
Yeah.
you?
Oh, I'm doing good too, and had a lot of fun watching all the games this weekend. And it's the international break now, so this weekend there was extra enthusiasm to watch all the games, knowing that we'll not have the football matches in the coming weekend. So yeah, I had a good week too, both in terms of the football and in terms of FPL. So today we'll review all the matches from the game week 7. Uh, and before we just start with the review of all the matches, me and Shourav will quickly run you through how our teams did in FPL. So I'll start with my team. Uh, I got 55 points, which was a little above the average. Decently happy with the team. Had Saka coming clutch with his 16 pointer. Didn't captain him, but yeah, good 16 points from Saka. I'll take that any day. Captain Haaland blanked. Mbumo with a goal. Carvalho came in clutch with a goal off the bench and a Liverpool clean sheet. Luis assist. Arsenal defense, double defense, wiped off, clean sheet wipe off. So nothing much there. So yeah, blanks all along, but the Saka saved my game week basically. So 55 points, and yeah, happy with it. Shourav, how about you?
Honestly, I had a very lucky game week. I didn't have Saka, I didn't have any Arsenal defense. My captain blanked, yet I came out with 50 points and a green arrow, which was very less, but still a green. And an above average score. So the only players that returned are Trent, Bumo, and Havertz. Johnson is a transfer in that I brought in after replacing Diaz, who was rumored to be benched. He did score a goal, but I had the famous troll on my bench, Luca Digne, who
Oh
got
yeah,
who matched Trent's score uh, in a home game, and
yeah.
I benched him this week.
Against United. And as the game progressed, I was just wondering why would you bench Luka Dean, I mean, and any Aston Villa defense against the Man United team who have scored 5 goals and have conceded 8. So I actually, when the deadline passed and I saw your team, I thought maybe this might hurt, and it did. So no bench jam for you this week.
Yeah. So just yeah, I mean, Digne could have been subbed off before 60 minutes, or could have considered an unlucky goal. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't want to take the risk, but yeah.
Yeah. But a good week nonetheless. I mean, getting 50 points without Saka this week is a rare achievement. I would say for any FPL team in general. What we see on Twitter and everything. And going into the international break with a green arrow is always nice because you have to see that team for 2 weeks, and the reds on your screen don't feel nice, do they? So yeah, green arrow for you, green arrow for me as well. So a happy international break for both of us, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into the matches and the result from the game week 7. Just a quick overview. Aston Villa and Man United. I think it was a snooze fest. A very boring game, nil-nil draw. We'll come to that. What it means to Man United. How Villa went about it. Chelsea Forest. That was a breathtaking game again. 1-1. A draw. Points dropped, I would say, for Chelsea. Brighton Spurs 3-2. What a game! A classic game of two halves. Uh, and Liverpool got their win. Arsenal got their win. They keep their title race well and alive. Man City just about won against Fulham at home. Um, for me, the Leicester win against Bournemouth was a surprise, both in terms of how the game went and the result as well. Brentford 5, Wolves 3. I think we did expect goals, but well, the way they were
Not
conceded.
8 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, not 8 goals, and in 8 goals to have just one Embomo involvement, that was also quite surprising. But we'll come to all these games one by one. So let's start so that we don't give away much before we get into the games. So let's start with our league leaders, Crystal Palace and Liverpool. So as you said just at the start on the top of the pod when we were discussing our team, we had a rumored leak that Luis Diaz is benched. I think both of us and everybody who's playing FPL and is engaged with the game knew that a benching is coming sooner rather than later for Luis Diaz, and it eventually came this week. I think most of us were expecting it to come just after the international break, maybe, but it did come. So. Uh, yeah, what did you make of uh, Liverpool's performance and Gakpo in particular?
Yeah. So the first sentence that you said, the league leaders, that doesn't quite add up. The Liverpool performance. I mean, they have been extremely lucky, especially the defense. Now that Allison is injured, although Kelleher is a good replacement, but it doesn't change the fact that they will concede goals. They have been giving away chances left and right. So what they lack is a press resistant center mid or center defensive mid player. If you have seen, there are a lot of instances where they lose the ball and then Palace bounce on it, and Eze had poor finishing, but they should have considered a few goals.
Yeah, and on your point, on the first point where you said they didn't play like league leaders, if you remember, you have been pretty high on Liverpool and slots Liverpool since the beginning, and rather I was quite skeptical about how they would go on with their performances as the fixtures progress. I still
Yeah,
feel they're doing quite okay. I mean, I don't think even with Arsenal, we saw them concede. I mean, last week against Leicester, they conceded 2 goals, and there was a point it was 2-2 against Southampton again this week. They did concede the early goal and went behind. But yeah, with Liverpool, I think. You're right. The sting that we saw in their attack in the early weeks just seems to have been neutralized a bit somewhere. Salah is not that menacing. Diaz was not there. Gakpo, I thought, played more wider than what Luis Diaz plays. And that gave Jota the opportunity to come more into the central areas where he scored the goal as well.
yeah, but
Uh,
Gakpo looked like the Gakpo from the Euros. He's playing well.
yeah,
He's
definitely.
drifting wide. The thing with Diaz is he prefers to cut in a lot. That
Yeah.
Gakpo doesn't do. Yeah,
Yes, and I think that's why Robertson's benching and Gakpo playing complemented the game well because Diaz cuts in so much. Robertson gets holds the width and plays the crosses from the sides. And with Gakpo, we saw he was there holding the width and was happy creating more chances from the wide areas and not cutting in and shooting as much as Diaz does. Also on the point of their central defensive mid, I saw every time they are not in position or they just recover position. Uh, Only Gravenberg is there as the single pivot six, and both McAllister and Soboslai are playing as eight. So they don't have a double pivot. They have a single midfield defensive mid who's playing, unlike most of the teams who now play with double pivot.
yeah, and
So
especially this match where Curtis Jones started, he's way too attacking to play in a midfield.
yeah,
So, I mean, he's more of a hybrid 10 than an
yeah.
8.
Yes, Curtis is an attacking midfielder. He's not known for his defensive qualities. So yeah, but uh, still, I would say the win was deserved. I wouldn't say there was any signs where they should have dropped points or they deserved not to win. That also had to do with Crystal Palace's, I think, general form and performance. Mateta was benched. Um, I think they're still experimenting. That lineup is still not settled. They're trying new things. I don't know what has happened to Crystal Palace is a little difficult to pinpoint, given how well they finished last season, and we keep talking about this in every pod about Crystal Palace. It's unfathomable how well they finished on a high, and coming into this season, just because they lost Olise and Anderson, that they'll fall apart so much. So Crystal Palace still not settled, although they did have a couple of good chances where they could have scored and given Liverpool a game. But the contrary is also true. I mean, Jota for Liverpool was wasteful. I mean, he had a couple of more good chances where he could have scored. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
On, on Jota's point, I had a I was comparing Jota's role to Firmino in one of our previous spots. That Slot is looking at that uh, number nine to drop deep and create chances. But Jota is not that player. I mean, Firmino was excellent on the ball. I mean, his technical abilities were far greater than what a number nine should have. And I mean, he could do 360s and back heels and create and pass the ball to Mane or Salah, and that's what those two right and left wingers benefited from it.
yeah,
Jota is an attack-minded player. What he does is he runs into the box, like the goal that we saw. He heads the ball. He always attacks the ball. Now,
yeah.
that is creating a kind of a blockade for Gakpo on the other side. Trent is delivering the crosses. If Jota is unable to convert them, then the ball goes away. So that's what is not uh, working right in that attack.
And even this game, Trent created a very good chance for Jota, which
He did.
he missed. And
In a free kick.
yeah, and it gives you flashbacks of that Ipswich game as well, where the Trent cross and Jota missed a header. So yeah, Trent has been. You're absolutely on point. Trent has been creating good chances for Jota, which is at this point not finishing off. And you don't really associate that with Jota because Jota has been traditionally a very good finisher of the ball. And even compared to Firmino, I think Jota technically, even if you speak, Jota is a very good technical player. Not the
Yeah,
same
he is.
qualities. Yeah,
He's
not
a
the
good.
same qualities as Firmino maybe, but his technical qualities are good. I don't think we can doubt his technical qualities. That's way better than maybe a Darwin or somebody, right?
Oh no, Jota is a good finisher of the ball. He dinks the ball. He's good in one-on-one. He shoots from outside of the box. He's like what 5'9" and a huge aerial threat.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
the, another point before we go off Jota is that in previously in Klopp's system, the midfield they used to play gegenpress, right? The midfield used to push up. That allowed Jota or anyone or whenever Jota is playing, even if in the left wing, allowed him a lot of space inside the penalty box. Now he's not getting that. He has to run into that penalty box uh, to get to that ball. I think that is what is creating problems for Jota.
yeah. He's dropping deep as well.
Yeah.
So before we go off Liverpool and maybe talk a little bit about Crystal Palace, a little bit more about Crystal Palace, uh, let's talk a little bit about Mohamed Salah, and especially with a little bit of an eye from an FPL point of view as well. I'm sure we'll cover that more in our FPL preview pod, but Mo Salah last two, three games has really not looked menacing or the Salah that we probably are used to seeing under Klopp or we saw in the first couple of game weeks, first three game weeks as well. His numbers, underlying stats, numbers, whatever you want to talk about, are not there. They're very low. Or even on the field, if you're watching the games, he's not looking threatening. It's not looking like he's just gonna get a goal from he's creating something or going to get a goal. Do you think something has changed, or is this the new slot system, or what is your thought? I mean, where are you with Mohamed Salah at this point?
So I'm so going back to Salah's history. Salah is never amazing or electric in uh, against a poor or middling team. What he does best is against good teams who press hard. So the next matches like Arsenal and Chelsea, where they press, they attack, Salah is always good on the counter, and that's where he thrives. So what happened in the previous two matches is mostly against, let's say, Nottingham Forest or this match against Crystal Palace. They do not press a lot. So Crystal Palace is more uh, the way they played was very erratic. They would randomly pass the ball, they would take shots. So it was not there was not a lot of space for Salah to operate, and that's where he thrives.
Yeah, I get that point where that Salah, he's a big game player and he thrives in those kind of scenarios and those matches. Um, he's a big game player, we know that. But in on your point of low blocks, there was a game against Wolves as well. He got a goal that was a penalty that he scored. But if you saw that game as well, it he didn't look as attacking. Neither did Diaz in that game for some weird reason. But uh, even against Wolves, where everybody's almost scoring for fun, he didn't look that attacking. So may I
Yeah.
don't know.
No,
Um,
yeah, that's a good point. So I mean, it's not particularly Salah who's being impacted, it's the entire system. Now, what Slot is trying to do is have a more controlled type of uh, a game, and now they don't have the players to play that control sort of a game. I mean, Gravenberch is a very good player. He turned into what like prime Schweinsteiger these days. He's playing, but he's not a press resistant. He's not Luka Modric or Busquets, right?
but he's playing
He
very well in this system. I
he
mean,
plays well.
he's
He plays
making
well.
this system work. If there is somebody who's an unsung hero of this slot system, I think that's Gravenberch. He's not getting the attention that he deserves, and the way he's making the system click. Don't you think that?
Yeah, Gravenberch is playing well, but he doesn't have the support with him to play that control sort of football.
No.
So if you look at Man City, Rodri controls the game even if he passes it, let's say right or left to Bilba or let's say Foden. They have the capability to hold that ball, cut in, create another chance. So that string of passes is not happening for Liverpool. So that is affecting the two forward players that uh, need those passes to be controlled inside that midfield area and then a long ball out to them. That's where Diaz and Salah does their best work, and that is not happening. So it's a slot system that's not clicking at the moment, unless of Diaz or Salah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we've covered a lot from Liverpool, and yeah, I think you're absolutely on point, and I think going forward, Salah is not somebody who'd stay quiet. He judges his own performance by his returns, so I'm sure he's going to uh, get a lot of goals and assists going forward. So let's see something to learn even more as we go uh, and go ahead in the game and see more game weeks with Liverpool. Crystal Palace, I think Munoz got injured in the game. I think that was a notable thing that happened. But I don't think Crystal Palace's defense or even attack, I don't think anything is clicking. So nothing much to talk about Crystal Palace. I think you can just they need to improve, and in terms of FPL, I think you can just ignore them safely
Yeah,
right now.
and whenever in doubt, you can always watch Oli say how he plays for Bayern now. So yeah, that will clear all Crystal Palace
Yeah,
doubts.
he was really great in the Champions League, in the first Champions League game. So yeah, uh, Premier League is missing Olise. He was a great player to watch. Let's move on. Let's move on to the other title contenders and your team, Arsenal versus Southampton. I'll let you. take this forward? What did you make of the game? Give us your analysis of it.
So I won't judge Arsenal's gameplay just by this particular match alone, but I wanted to uh, discuss some shifts in play style that Arteta has adopted. So they are not now playing more aggressively. If you see, they're taking a lot of shots. Uh, they are they have pacey players. Martinelli is performing well. Now, Arteta wanted to build up on that in this match since, it was Southampton at home. He could test the waters, so he brought in Jesus and Sterling, which was absolutely a bad combo. They are not good together. Both are poor finishers. And even Sterling made an error that led to the goal. So, but yeah, I mean, leaving apart that, what since they lost Odegaard, they have replaced that control style of play with a lot more aggressive, and Party fits into the system quite well. I mean, he creates a lot of chances, has always a forward ball in him. He even shoots. He takes quite a lot of shots. He even scored in one of the first matches um, from, I think it was outside the box. So Party, now that there are talks of his contract being renewed, I think it's Party is going to be essential in this system that Arteta is adopting. Now,
Do,
yeah,
where do you think Partey fits? Because just from the back of my mind, if I think about the general lineup of the team, so he's this game because of the injury to Timber and Calafiori, I think.
Party played right
Sorry,
back.
yeah, Partey played right back, not Calafiori, Ben White and Timber. Both were not available. So Partey played right back. So that is not his natural position. We don't expect Partey to be playing right back at all going
Yeah,
forward. Now
we
you
don't
have
like Party inverting. I mean,
yeah,
uh,
yes, yes, definitely. Now, once Odegaard is back, assuming everybody is fit, uh, you can imagine a central midfield of Rice, Odegaard, if needed, Mikel Merino, uh, ahead of Thomas Partey maybe, and you anyways don't have space there because you will play. Uh, whom will you drop out because you have Trossard playing there, you have Martinelli in the front line, Havertz and Saka. So where does now that Mikel Merino is fit, where does Partey fit in? Does
yeah.
he have a
Now,
spot in that 11? Is what I'm asking.
no, if in an ideal scenario, if Odegaard is fit and Merino is fit and both are playing, Party doesn't fit into that system. What Party does is help in this transition period. I mean, he's quite essential in that midfield of Rice and Partey. So it, let's say White is fit or Timber is fit, they take the right back position. Partey and Rice will be the mid. Jorginho wouldn't play. I mean, Jorginho is a good sub. He has a lot of control play in, would be useful in UCL, but he wouldn't make it into the 11. Party will now. And as far as Trossard is concerned, I think nobody sees Trossard as the midfield now. He's out and out striker at the moment. So this
Yeah,
system of 4-2-4 that Arteta is playing, the top two are Trossard and Havertz. Uh, that's why I initially said that I'm not judging Arsenal's play style based on this particular match alone.
yeah.
And this style of aggressive, yep, good.
Yeah, no, I was just agreeing to the basic what you were saying because to add to the point that these two games were not to be judged as how Arsenal are playing because Jesus and Sterling started. This is not what we'd see going ahead, and I think
I
Arteta is
wouldn't start
just
them.
yeah.
Nobody would start them. God knows why Arteta did.
No, I'm sure he's just rotating and because there are so many matches, so many minutes in everybody's legs, so I think um, he's just rotating and giving chances to players. That's it. But yeah, and against Southampton, he can afford to. If there's any game you can start Jesus and Sterling together, I think Southampton at home is as easy as they come to experiment, which did work out still. But yeah, that's hindsight. Let's get into the game. Southampton really, really poor defensively again. That has been their story this entire season till now. Uh, they're a team to target. I mean, they're conceding goals and chances for fun. I mean, the number of shots that they're conceding is just uh, enormous. The amount of shots that they're conceding. But did you expect to end? I think we ended the first half nil-nil. The game ended the first half nil-nil, and Southampton then went ahead. I don't think even no matter what you're trying, you don't really expect Southampton to score and Arsenal to go behind, given that Saliba, Gabriel, and most of the defense was playing. So, are there any concerns defensively? Do you think there are any
Um,
concerns?
no, I think it was more of a trial match where Arteta was trying to rest a few players, rotate a few of them, and yeah, and it was a good finish from Archer. So I wouldn't take the
But
goal
Saliba
as
could have done better. I mean, if you
Saliba
see
could
the
have done
goal,
better.
Saliba should have done better. I mean, you expect that from a top center back who's really playing Champions League as well. So I don't a rare mistake. You don't see you don't normally sit down and say Saliba could have done better
Yeah,
in any game.
there's one thing if you have noticed Saliba sometimes when I mean he doesn't jump into tackle quite a lot. He's more of a steady or a calm-headed person, so he doesn't give away a lot of penalties or fouls. So in this type of scenarios, when he's on a face-to-face with an attacker, it becomes a slightly difficult job to judge. So Watkins scored a similar goal last season against Saliba like this. He had a ball on
Yeah,
on the left side of the box. He cuts a little bit on his right foot and shoots.
yeah.
So that's it becomes a little hard to judge. I wouldn't take anything from away from Archer. It was indeed a good finish, but yeah, the goal uh, doesn't show any cons in the system as of now.
Arsenal fans will remember the Watkins goal. It cost them the title last
Uh,
year. So yeah.
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it's okay. But talking of good goals and good players, Bukayo Saka, man, he turned on. He was turned on in the Leicester game as well. He was so unlucky not to get an assist or goal. And this game as well, he was so electric. I mean, the quality of that player is just out of this world. You could see that game and feel that the other 21 players on the field are just a notch below this one player. He's so special. He was so electric. Everything he does is just amazing to watch. I'm so lucky to have a player like Saka and to watch him week in, week out. Uh,
Yeah, and he's just 23 years,
yeah,
and yeah, he's. I mean, the way he plays, he doesn't put a step wrong, and
yeah.
this is kind of thing that you expect from a world-class player. Arguing Saka could be one,
No, no,
and
he is, and his decision making, you're
yeah,
absolutely on point, and I was going to say that his decision making is what makes him a world class player. Actually, you could probably find somebody with a similar technical ability or a good ball control, good crossing ability, or good passing ability, but that decision making is what I think sets Saka absolutely apart. You'll never find. Uh, I find it hard to pinpoint at any point in the match that Saka has made a poor choice in terms of a pass or a shot or a cross. That sets him apart, I think.
and even when Arsenal is playing a boring game with Odegaard and White and that trio, Saka does well even when they're playing aggressive on the counter, beat any sort of game, he adapts. That's what uh,
Yeah,
puts him apart from the rest of the players on the field.
yeah, definitely. So he deserves the nickname Starbird, doesn't he? So yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing much, I think, to talk on this game. So we expected the result. So yeah, let's move on to the
Uh,
from
I I
yeah,
just wanted to cover one point, especially the last one in your slide. It's
yeah, yeah,
Havertz. How do you feel about selling him to us?
yeah. So for all the guys on the podio, the last point that is mentioned on our video slide is it says Havertz got another goal at home.
It's the
How?
sixth. consecutive
how,
goal at home that
yeah,
matches Van Persie's record.
yeah. I kind of don't feel fair that Havertz is at this point is being compared to Van Persie. I mean, it
He's not
hurts.
Van Persie.
Yeah, it hurts my emotions because Van Persie is was a quality striker. I mean, he's one of my favorite strikers of all time, Robin Van Persie. But yeah, Havertz is in great form. I think he has the benefit of of being in a great team and in a great environment at this point. Do we regret selling him? I would not say we regret selling him. I don't think he worked in that Chelsea setup. Uh, and even the kind of football Maresca is playing, maybe he would have done better. But that's all hindsight. And as they say, everybody is a legend on Monday. So uh, you don't know this beforehand that Maresca would come. Also, Chelsea would play possession-based football. We have not seen possession-based football from Chelsea in years of supporting Chelsea. So I don't think that was the place for Havertz. I'm actually happy for him rather than regretting selling him. I think, yeah, he deserves. He looks like a very humble guy. He looks like somebody who's a hardworking guy. And
And
even
his
when,
mentality is changing into that striker role. So that's what
yeah,
is impressive now.
yeah, even when he was at Chelsea, no matter the amount of criticism, he never spoke out or spoke something out of line. He always looked focused and tried to work and try to do his best. So I like the guy. So no regrets, and rather I'm actually happy for him. So no issues there. So yeah, but talking of Chelsea and Havertz's relationship, let's get into the Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest match. What a match this was. I think the first half was still okay, but the game really turned on in the second half. First half, I think Chelsea had the better chances. I don't think Forest did much in the first half, and they were just waiting and you know gauging how Chelsea is going to play, and very circumspect, good defensively as you would expect Nuno's side to be, and Nottingham Forest has been very good defensively. We have spoken about this in the last pod, in the last to last pod, and we need to realize that Forest is a good defense this season. So I think that's what they did in the first half. Chelsea came really close. One of the chances in the first half almost went over the line, which was just scrambled away somehow by Cells. So first half was okay, but the second half is I think where the game just turned on its head. I mean, uh, brilliant finish from Noni Madueke, uh, and then Chelsea conceding from a free kick, and I think it was a very identical chance that was considered just a few moments earlier as well in the first half. Um, and Chelsea were about to concede from that as well. So lessons were not learned, and we ended up conceding that goal. But I think the game really came alive in the last 10 to 15 minutes after the James Ward-Prowse red card. I don't know what James Ward-Prowse was doing. That is the most brain-filled
Bizarre
moment.
slip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't no it the slip was okay. I don't understand why he had to handle the ball because you had Milinkovic and Murillo standing right there. They could have covered, and it was not Cole Palmer who was setting free. It was Nicholas
Yeah,
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah.
So, you have to trust your defense to deal with Nicholas Jackson, who was going diagonally to a side, to, be able to cover him. So I don't think there was any need to handle the ball and stop the play at that point. It was 76th minute as well. So I don't think it was that deep in the game. But that red card, I don't think changed how Forest played. I was really impressed by how Forest still tried to attack and win the game, and they were not playing for a draw. I really, really, you know, I was really impressed by that. And similarly with Chelsea, I mean, great opportunities. That Neto cross, Joao Felix header, I thought that
And
should have been a
Palmer,
goal.
that flick.
Yeah, Palmer double save
Yeah.
by Matt Sells, and then in the end, Mikhailo Mudrik finally he had that moment, that Chelsea moment that he has been waiting for. What a run! What a cross, right onto the forehead of Nicholas Nkunku, and he headed straight at Matt
Straight.
Sells. I felt bad as a Chelsea fan, but more so, I felt bad for Mikhailo Mudryk. He deserved it. What a run from his own box, and that pace and everything that we talk
He
about.
kept the ball on the line. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
impressive.
that con we always say he has pace, he doesn't have control, or he doesn't have that forward thinking. He exhibited all of those in that run, and it deserved a goal. Uh, but yeah, I would still say 1-1 or 2-2 would have been a more fair result because Forest also came close, and I think it was a day of the goalkeepers. Both Sanchez and Sells made some amazing saves, and
Yeah, it was a basketball game. It was going back and forth, and the keepers were incredible.
yeah, and I think both the keepers deserved it. If you think about it, Sanchez and Sells are two keepers who, in their respective teams, are under scrutiny. Nobody have given them the number one spot as a guarantee. So Sanchez has competition. He has been under criticism. Just the last match itself, we
Yeah,
were
he was
talking
he was
about.
about to lose his position, and then he
Yes,
puts up
he
this
was
performance.
responsible for both the goals of Brighton. And I remember in our last review pod on our slide we wrote Sanchez was awful. Yeah, and come this game week he's just picked himself up and has been brilliant. I mean, really great saves. If it was not for Sanchez, we could have lost this game. And same goes for Sels. Brilliant performance from both the goalkeepers, I thought. So yeah,
But now that I think two defenders are suspended for the next game,
yeah, that is
and,
going to really
and that
affect
too
us.
versus Liverpool. So that
Yes. But I think you know Fofana and Kukurea, I think Fofana would be covered by Tosin. I think
yeah,
if it was Levi Colwill who was suspended, that would affect
Colwell
us
is your
more.
best defender.
Yes,
If
that would
if
have
you would,
affected us more. So I think what can happen is if we have seen this before when Gusto was also injured, if you remember, Reece James
yeah,
and Gusto was injured game week 3-4 in that time. So what Maresca did at that point was he paid Cucurella and played three center defenders, and Cucurella was inverting. So he can do the same with Gusto now. He can play Gusto and he can play three central defenders in Tosin and Disasi and Colville, and then Malo Gusto can invert. I think that is what will happen. Although the
or I think Viega is one of your
he's the
left
like-to-like
backs.
replacement. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the like-to-like replacement for Kukurea. But I think against Liverpool, will he go with Renato Vega? I think that will be a if he does, it will be a big show of faith on the youngster
against Salah.
against Salah. But if you've seen Renato Vega play in the Conference League or the Carabao Cup, or even in the 10, 15, 20-minute cameos in Premier League, he is a very good player. Very decent player. I mean, he doesn't lose his duels. He you will not find him out of position, and his physicality is really good. So I will not be as concerned if even if Renato Vega plays, and that says a lot about a youngster. Let's see what happens. Um, let's move ahead from
Sure.
Chelsea to Manchester City. Manchester City. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, this game fills me with confidence as an Arsenal fan. So
Yeah,
this game was good. At that Etihad, City have showed that they could concede goals. They almost lost the match to a
but
10
City
men
always
Arsenal.
concede goals.
Yeah.
City have
But not like
even
this.
last season.
No, yeah. I mean, they conceded a one-odd goal last season
Yeah,
that was on the break, but not like this, how they played against Fulham.
yeah,
Fulham.
yeah, yeah. And if City keeps playing like this, I think we can expect a very open title race this season. And they'll be without Rodri. Don't get me wrong. This is not a one-off match. Rodri is not there for the entire season. So if this is how they're planning to cope with without Rodri, bring it on.
And Yeah, and not just Rodri, they're missing KDB's essential transition play. I mean,
Yeah,
his long balls from defense to converting from defense to attack. I mean, that was crucial in those Haaland goals. So I think Haaland also suffers quite a bit.
I don't understand actually why when you don't have KDB, I am at loss to understand why Savio is not playing. He was playing since game week one. He was so creative. Pep was full of his praises. If you saw those games, you could see that along with KDB, he was one of the creative forces. He was making so many chances. His play is so good, and he is that kind of a player who make chances for Haaland as well, which Doku doesn't. If you see,
Yeah,
Doku doesn't. Doku takes his own
Doku is not.
shots. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't understand. Even at the game against Newcastle last week, they didn't start Foden, Savio. They didn't have KDB, Rodri. This week they started Foden, but they didn't start Savio. So
now,
I can't question Pep, but yeah,
yeah,
something.
what I thought was it was kind of a misjudgment on how Fulham would play. So he played Bernardo Silva on the right wing, which I mean Bernardo Silva should play each and every game. Is exceptional on the ball, but he thought that he would have more control over the game and didn't expect them to be so gung-ho. I mean, Traore and Raul, everyone was bombing in the box. Even Iwo was quite far up.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, Man City have been burned by Traore when he was in at Wolves. If you
Wolves.
remember I think it was
Yeah,
2022, the season
yeah,
where he scored two goals, very similar goals, and won the game for Wolves 3-2
yeah,
or
three
something
two.
like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
it was
So
3-2 win. I think Ederson, when he was one on one, Ederson had those flashbacks. I mean, he was very happy to save those two 1v1s.
And Adama Traore made fun of Rico Lewis and Kyle Walker. I mean, he ate them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have not seen Kyle Walker being outpaced like that. And I was not taking all those. You would read tweets and things like that Kyle Walker is getting old and he's losing it, and you'd think, oh, this is just Rico Lewis fan club talking. But no, this really Traore easily won that
Outpaced.
sprint. Yeah, he outpaced Kyle Walker easily, and Rico Lewis was no match for his physicality. He could keep up with his pace, but he couldn't stop him on the wrong side of the ball. He just on his merit he just switched.
Yeah,
So
Rico Lewis is not a defender, but Kyle Walker being outpaced like that, it reminds me of one of the UCL moments when, if you remember that panel of Kate, Henri, Micah, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so they were talking to Kyle, and Walker said that he could match Henri's speed, and I think this this match made sure that he would never match his
In match
speed.
on speed, yeah. No, that's true. That's true. I mean, I think if we, again coming back to the match, City, I think Fulham can be really proud, and I think they could have at least taken a point out of this game. Traore, as much as we are praising him, if he had to finish. If there's no point, you don't get anything for making good runs and then not finishing it off. And against City at their home, you don't get too many chances, and he got two of them, two very good chances, one-on-one chances. And even if he put away one, probably they could have come away with a draw. So yeah, unlucky for Fulham. They played
And
really
it's
well. Yeah,
yeah, it's so that's what I wanted to discuss regarding Fulham. It's the Marco Silva system that impresses me. I mean, you always talk about Thomas Frank's system. Marco Silva is also playing an incredible uh, team. I mean, he's getting Raul is getting his mojo back. Muniz is benched, but he comes on and scores.
yeah,
Last game he comes on and assists. So he is creating that chemistry in the system. So this game he changed the lineup. Iwobi was playing right back instead of left wing,
yeah,
and even though the two players like Traore and Iwobi, they offer, I mean, they're different sort of players. One is pacey, one is more technical crosses. So they are both crucial to the system, and he's utilizing them both. It's not just one-sided attack.
No, you're
Eh,
absolutely on point, and it's a great spot by you by to spot Iwobi playing on the right back. Really, yeah, that completely skipped my mind, and yeah, and even in terms of their attackers, you see, he's not scared to drop the out of form striker. Last season, he started with Raul. He saw Muniz scoring off the bench, so he put him in the lineup. He went on a run, and this season the exact opposite has happened. He started with Muniz. He didn't find the back of the net, or he didn't get his confidence there. He put Raul in there, and now Raul's on a run, and Muniz comes off the bench and he's scoring as well. So I think, yeah, he has made that team function, and also with how ESR came in, and he already had Andres Pereira, and to fit both of them in that system, it went seamlessly. So
Even the
great.
second goal was a great substitution. I mean, he brought in Nelson, ESR,
Yeah,
and Muniz. So yeah,
Muniz, yeah.
yeah, they played quite well.
So ESR, I think, was benched tactically. So nothing
It was a tactical benching.
in terms of FPL, I don't think there's anything to worry about in terms of ESR benching. Let's talk a little bit about Foden. Champions League midweek, he was so sharp. He looked in his element, got a goal, got an assist. But this game, uh, he started well, but not the level where we thought Foden would be. And then second half, I didn't think he had much of an impact. He was quite. So, do you think this was more how Fulham defended or contained him, or does Foden now still need time to come back to
I
speed?
Yeah, I think so. Foden, even though he's taking set pieces, he's not taking up the KDB role. So in previous season or the last season, Foden was playing that KDB role. He was playing central, and that's what enabled him to be that output monster. So he's not playing that role. I'm not sure if he's not fit enough, or he's Pep's changing the
No, I
system
think Gundogan's arrival has
involvement.
changed. Yeah, it has
So
changed the
Gundogan is playing
dynamics.
the second striker.
Yes. Yes, so Gundogan is restricting it, and I think when once KDB comes back, that might affect Foden even more. So that something, but you can always
Foden,
trust Pep to make things work with his personnel. But yeah, this
yeah,
is something to look,
but I don't
keep an
think
eye on.
Foden ever plays central. Even if KDB comes back, he would shift Foden to the left, uh, or
Yeah,
left or right. I mean, he
or
can
the
play
right, yeah,
either wing. Yeah, he
because
can play
he
either wing.
prefers Grealish on the left because Grealish
In
can
in
hold.
more of a low block team where
Yeah,
he requires more control.
yeah. But I think Grealish and Doku are the ones taking up the left spot now. So Grealish starts against low blocks. Doku starts where he needs a little bit of chaos and a more direct approach. But Grealish is the de facto choice on the left wing because he also enhances Haaland's output because Grealish
Yeah,
crosses and puts balls into the box. So that's there. Uh, Talking of Grealish and Doku, what a special goal! The third goal, it was a great strike. I mean, we all know Doku can do it, and would like to see it happen more often. But really good goal from Doku. So I think that helps. That can help his confidence a little bit going forward. Kovacic, two goals for Kovacic. Do you see a Rodrisk?
no,
No, we will
no.
stop this conversation.
It was more of a Kovacic, or a, let's say, a typical CM shooting from outside the box type of goal. So yeah, it was very match specific.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that too. So we'll keep this conversation for probably if a couple of uh, more times if we see Kovacic scoring those bangers from outside the box like Rodri, then we'll probably have this conversation. So yeah, I think that's all from Man City versus Fulham. Let's move ahead and move ahead to what I thought was the game of the week, Brighton versus Spurs. I think if we always talk about game of two halves. I think this game could have been two separate games in itself. What happened to Spurs second half? I don't know. Let's talk about the first half first. I think first half Spurs started really really bright, and I it just felt like a deja vu moment for Brighton, um, like um, uh, like what happened against Chelsea. They were holding a high line. Ninth minute, I think even their last center back Adam Webster also gets injured, so they bring on Igor for his first appearance of the Premier League, and I thought this is not going down well for Brighton. Such a high line, and your center back injured already. The first choices are injured, and then Brennan Johnson scores, then Madison scores, and attack after attack for Spurs. Brennan Johnson could have had another goal from a Timo Werner assist. And you would think at halftime that Spurs are controlling this, and Brighton again with their high line of defense, they're not making this work, and probably a couple of more goals in the second half from Spurs maybe. And then the second half comes around, and suddenly you see a role reversal. I mean, it's like Brighton um, is a completely different team from what we saw in the first half. What do you think? Did Spurs get complacent? Did Brighton really turn it up, or was this a mixture of both?
What Spurs is doing, I mean, I would love to say Spurs being Spursy, but still, Spurs is now playing with 10 attackers and Vicario being the only defender. What's happening? Yeah, what's happening is that the midfield of Kulu and Madison is very attacking, and they don't have the center backs or the wing backs to support them. I mean, I think it was Bentancur who was playing behind the two, and he's not as defensive minded. I mean, I think Hoylberg was a far more defensive player than Bentancur. He's so that's what is causing Spurs to concede this number of goals.
Yeah, and
And
they have Bissouma and Pape Matar also, I think, in their ranks.
Bissouma is a good alternative, but I think Ange playing the system of Kulu and Madison and creating this attack is what's uh, what's causing this huge uh, chances. And Warner, so and another thing is the system kind of changed from what Ange used to play up top. Previously, he used to have a number nine, which was Richarlison or Son. When Richarlison was injured, he would play just near the 6 yard box, would be available for tap. And now Solanke in that system, I mean, everyone expected Solanke to be in that role. That's why everyone brought him in game week one. But now Solanke is playing the Harry Kane role. He's dropping deep and creating
Yes,
the chances for both the uh, left and right forwards.
but I think isn't that what would you not say that that is what Ange wants? Because Ange has been saying this in probably every press conference where you ask him about Solanke, that he's the one who fits his system best, or how he wants his striker to be. So do you think this is what Ange actually wants him to be doing, dropping deep, or is it just because now that Sun is not there, so he's just dropping deep to help create those chances and get runners off him?
Now that may be a misinterpretation on my part, but what how Ange used to play is that he would have kind of a 4-3-3 role where the striker, the number nine, would play up top, and the ones on the left and right would create the chances for them. That's how Boro used to get a lot of assist
Yeah.
for Richarlison or anyone. So
Yes.
now, if the number nine is dropping deep and the two uh, wingers are bombing forward, it opens up a lot of space on the wing, and that's what people are I mean, the other opponents are exploiting.
Yeah.
And Werner is not good. I mean, he's extremely poor on 1v1. We have seen him in Chelsea. So I think that's what is another. I think issue in their team. Son, if he comes back, I mean, he's a hell of a finisher. So I think that resolves that problem. But I'm not sure what to make of their defense at this point.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Their defense absolutely for both teams, I think at this point looks pretty bad. Spurs or Brighton, I think both defenses are at this point a complete avoid and something to target for the other teams. Spurs look to have turned a corner when they played United. It was a clean sheet, 0-3. Against Brentford also, they had a very strong performance. But back to being Spurs again, I think, because they had the game under control in at the first half. Yeah, so I think both defenses are an avoid at this point and something to target for all the other teams. But in terms of the second half performance from Brighton, I think Welbeck, Rutter, Mitoma was absolutely brilliant. So was Minte, very lively. He's always lively. But Mitoma, I think, really put in a performance, and Udogi couldn't deal with Minte. Pedro Porro was nowhere to be seen against Mitoma. So I think that's some great performances, and I wonder when João Pedro comes back, who makes way for him because Welbeck is in a great form. Rutter is playing absolutely great for that team. So where do you think João Pedro comes in when he comes back from injury?
I mean, uh, so the system that they're playing, Joao Pedro doesn't make into the starting 11 because he's not a uh, out and out striker like Welbeck, who is good for this style of play. He is direct, has headers in his locker, and yeah, and he's on a good form. So Rooter is, I think, he's one of the uh, unexpected, let's say, players in this team that I didn't expect him to be sort of the Mitoma-esque player that he's growing out to be. Uh, I,
Yeah.
I I do remember Hutzler mentioning about Rooter being a street style football player, and he clearly showed that in
Yeah.
this match.
But he's a handful for the opposition defense to handle.
And he
Although
takes shots. He is direct as well. Joe Pedro is not, and I don't think he replaces Rutter in this team.
But João Pedro, I think Hustler mentioned that he's the focal point of this team. Just before he got injured, I remember a press conference where he said every team has one player around whom you build, and that one player who has the quality. And for us, it is João Pedro.
Could be
May,
then if he comes in, if he's favored, then it could be
maybe
number
Rutter,
10 and right. Yeah,
yeah,
Rutter
Rutter
right.
moves to the right, and Minte goes to the bench. But yeah, Minte doesn't deserve that. To be fair, he's also very lively. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Mint is more of a Doku type player. He plays well in bursts, not throughout the 90 minutes. So
yeah,
he could be a good sub.
yeah. You hit the nail on the head, as they say. He's a Doku type player. I think that's the key point here. That's very well put. Yeah. So let's move ahead to the blockbuster game of this weekend. If you were not entertained by Brighton Spurs, there was always Brentford Wolves to absolutely put you on the edge of your seat and make you fall in love with Premier League all over again. What a start to the game! And Brentford, and I don't, this now feels surreal. Again, an early goal, not under a minute, but 76 seconds. That's fourth game in a row. For years of following English Premier League, I've never seen something like this. This is absolutely crazy. Not sure how they keep doing it, but I mean, the manager did come out and say that they try to do it. I don't know how they try to do it and what kind of preparation goes behind scoring an early goal, but it's clearly working for them.
Yeah. And now there's something that I noticed and also had seen a quite of discussion around it. So Brentford specializes in this crossing and set pieces. So they had this amazing set piece coach who's now in Arsenal. So they have created the system of providing good balls into the box. And if you see all of the first minute goals, the boomer cross, the boomer volleys, and even the 76 Nathan Collins goal, it was from across. It wasn't a tap in or a random shot from outside the box. So now, now in this game, uh, the role of Damsgaard was very crucial. He's very good at set pieces. We have seen him do that in the Euros. So he showed his class once again. I mean, he's not consistent at all times. He's not Ericsson, but yeah, he's quite a good replacement for him.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. And Damsgaard and no Norgard, th these guys do make a difference in that team. And we keep talking about Mbumo and Visa and their
Yeah,
front line, but
Nogard is essentially, yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, he's quite crucial to the system.
yeah, he makes them click. Much like what I was talking about with slot system and Gravenberg being there. Probably not the front page superstar hero, but that is what is making this click. And you could see the difference. Norgard back in the team, he makes them click. So that definitely is true for Brentford. They played a lot better, but they you always are left wanting from their defense because Thomas Frank's defense is generally good this season. I don't know. They're yet to come good. They haven't kept a clean sheet yet. So that is something I think Brentford would look to improve, especially given that they have a good run of fixtures going ahead. So there's an opportunity there to have some clean sheets.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
yeah. Please go ahead.
another thing that we talked about in the last pod was uh, picking Brentford's defense for their goal threat, just for their goal threat, and both of them, Collins and Pinnock, scored.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, when Pinnock Collins was already had those underlying numbers, but Pinnock, Pin,
Pinnock had a good header. It
yeah,
was.
Pinnock scored a couple of goals last season as well. I
Yep.
remember getting a few attacking returns last season. So yeah, that is something you can expect from them. But let's talk about Wolves a little bit. What their defense is absolute shatters. They're very good going forward in counter attack. They do score goals. And Cunha, Strand Larson, and their attackers. They don't need too many. They're not wasteful. Then they don't need too many chances. They create a few and they score from that. But their defense is an area of concern now. Initially, we have been passing it. We've let go of the results, saying they had a tricky run of fixtures to start with. But do you think it's now a concern how they're defending because it's almost same 7 game weeks down in the season and it's now getting into the business end.
Yeah, they have started losing quite a lot of. I mean, they have lost quite a lot of their defenders, and Semedo and Aitnodi are not defenders. They're not even wing backs. They're playing proper wingers. So yeah, the defense is, if the opponent keeps on exploiting this, I don't think manager will be there for quite a long. I mean, the system has to change.
Yeah, and Gary O'Neill was quite concerned. He said, "This is probably the worst I've seen us defend," which is something to say from Wolves because Wolves really defend poorly in any case. So, but Ait Nouri, we keep talking about his defensive abilities or the lack of it rather. But he does deliver going forward. He again got a assist. He got a goal.
Yeah, he's a midfielder. You can think of
Yeah,
him as that.
yeah. Probably where Pedro Neto played, you could probably put in Reinhard Nouri, and probably he'd be a good replacement for that, but not at left back, maybe. Yeah. So another interesting fact that I came across, and I just put it here uh, for the audio guys. I'll just read it out loud. So the 8 goals were scored in this match, and all the goals were scored by 8 different scorers. And the fun fact is, all the 8 different scorers were from 8 different countries. So how often does that happen? I found that fact to be a little staggering. So 8 goals, 8 different scorers from 8 different nationalities. That's Premier League for you, probably. Uh, just to touch upon, just before we move ahead, Mbomo, 8 goals, one involvement for Mbomo. Did you feel you could have much more and, felt a little more wanting?
He could have. There was one chance where Sade could have squared it to him. He could have scored. I think another one which Carvalho tapped in could have been a chance for Mbumo. So yeah, he could have had those, but it wasn't that he was out of the game. He was always there in the good positions. He was
He
creating
was
chances,
he was
taking
back on the
chances.
right this
Yeah.
game. Yeah, Sade started up front, so he was back on the right. Yeah, so good game from for Brentford. Let's move ahead. Let's go on to West Ham versus Ipswich. This is not a result that I personally envisaged. West Ham scoring 4 goals against Ipswich. Did I might have expected West Ham to finally get a win, but to score 4 goals and to put in such a such a dominating performance, uh, this I did not really expect. Are Ipswich being poor, or do you think West Ham has have now turned a corner and we can expect good things from them? How do we read this game now?
No, it was a game of let's say Ipswich being poor. If you see the goals, they were mostly errors that were leading to the goals. Muric showed that he's not ready to be a Premier League goalkeeper. The chance that Antonio header that bounced, that bounced off and then Kudus put it in. I think he couldn't find his footing to punch that away. Uh, there were a lot of other mistakes
Yeah,
where
and
he
this
went
is
out for
not
the
the first
ball,
time.
missed it. Yeah, and this is not the first time, correct? So
Yeah, against the Man City, if you remember, he just passed it on for that
yep.
KDB goal and everything. Yeah, he makes lots of mistake. That's true. That's a really good point.
Yeah, people keep talking about Davis. I mean, Davis is an excellent player, but as as someone playing in that defense, I wouldn't I wouldn't go near him in FPL because let's say Davis bombing forward also leaves open spot or vulnerable spot in their defense. So that contributes to that bad defense. Yeah.
Yeah, and how many attacking returns are you going to expect out of Lee Davis? It's not like he's a forward. He is actually a left back. So the primary source of point is a clean sheet, or at least not conceding 4 goals or 2 goals or 3 goals, which gives you negative points as well in FPL. So he's not going to give you attacking returns week in week out. So yeah, even I feel like Leaf Davis in FPL is feels like a trap. I will stay away from it. So, but in terms of Bowen and Kudus and West Ham attack in general, do you think they have now finally clicked into gear and with this the performance will definitely give them confidence. Do you think it's something ca
No,
can we invest in them right now, or do you think we can keep an eye and wait a little bit longer?
no, it's a wait and watch. But the only upside I would take from this game is Kudus's form. He's not dipping. He's continuously improving the way he plays, his directness. So Kudus is a good player. Not sure if he's FPL worthy, but yeah, he's the one to keep an eye on. I wouldn't go near Antonio or
No, no.
Bowen is way too high for his price. I think around 7.4 or
Yeah,
7.5. Yeah,
yeah.
he's not worth that.
But West Ham do have a good creative midfield. Paqueta, Bowen, and Kudus on paper. If you look at that, with Somerville on the bench, Fulkrug when fit as a striker, you would expect good things from West Ham. I mean, in the summer when they had these transfers in,
Yeah,
we all thought
everyone.
it's a really good business, and I
But they
was
didn't click a lot.
yeah, but I think with time maybe they'll 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 improve because after the game, Antonio was giving an interview and he said that now we're trying to play position-based football, and West Ham have never played possession-based football for the last 4 or 5 years, or for a lot of years that you can remember. So it's a bad habit that we're trying to get out of our system and adopt this uh, new way of playing football, and that that clicked with me. I thought, yes, it's a new system, and what we expect from a new manager for a new system to take time to settle down. So I think not now for sure, but West Ham, I'm expecting, uh, or rather hoping that that click, because that's a very talented team, and if that attack clicks, it'll be um, good both in terms of FPL and in terms of viewing as well. From Ipswich, I think the only player who really impressed me was Liam Delap.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
a good player.
yeah, his third goal in 2 games. Last game he got a brace. This game, that too against Aston Villa, he gets his goal again against West Ham.
And the
So
shot was amazing. It flew off his boot. So
yeah, he looks sharp, and his
yeah,
shots are really good. He
his
doesn't,
shots are good.
yeah, he doesn't scuff his shots, or he doesn't have a weak shot in his artillery.
Even
His
his
shots are really
headers
good,
are he has a power header trait.
and he's a good ball carrier as well. It's not like he's just like a Haaland type of a player waiting near the box just to tap in or head in or finish it. He can carry the ball well as well. So
Yeah, his
that is,
height is kind of deceptive. I mean, we would think him as more of a poacher type of a player, but he does, yeah, he does carry the ball quite a lot.
yeah, definitely. So I think that's all from Ipswich. Nothing much to talk there. And then we move on to the snooze, from the most exciting games of the weekend to the most boring snooze fest of the week. Aston Villa nil, Man United nil. I think both the teams, I think, were playing for a draw. It feels odd to say this, but Aston Villa were out of ideas. They were out of energy. I don't know. It felt like uh, they were tired and not yet ready to click into gear and attack. And Man United, it felt like they came out thinking, Eric Ten Hag set up this team to defend and just get a point, and he was happy with it. Post match, he was really happy. He said
He
the
was
the
just trying to save his job.
yeah, but I mean, we have both of us. You have been watching Premier Leagues, and I have been watching Premier League since a lot of years now. And since the time we started watching Shourav, I think both of us have grown up watching Man United win, and a draw for Man United. A loss is a big thing. A draw for Man United used to be news that Man United have drawn a match. And now to hear Eric Ten Hag say, "Oh, we have drawn at Villa Park, and this shows that we have made progress." Oh, what a day to be alive for me! I mean, I couldn't believe my ears. I wanted to call you up at that point, but I thought I stopped myself somehow. But this is unbelievable for me.
And his famous lines of trust the process, and yeah, it
Yeah, trust the
keeps on
process in
repeating.
the third season.
Yeah,
I wonder what would have happened to him if he came to Chelsea during the Abramovich era.
he would have been sacked in 2 games.
3 games.
Yeah,
But yeah, as even as a Chelsea fan, this is not where, or this is not how you want Man United to be playing, or this is not Man United or what their DNA is. So hopefully they come out of this with Ten Hag or without Ten Hag. That's a really different story that we'll not get into right now. But not the kind of performance you'd expect from a team like Man United, and really disappointed to hear that a draw uh, is any kind of a progress for Man United. That is not what Man United is made of. But about the match, I think Rashford
he
looked
looks sharp.
sharp.
He
Yeah,
looks confident on the ball.
yeah. So good if he can turn a corner. Surprisingly, Bruno, who always, even when Man United has not performed, Bruno has always looked on it, sharp, creating chances, doing something. Bruno looked a little lost to me. How did you read the game?
Yeah, I think it affects this entire team morale is down. So
Yeah,
eh, just pure moments of individual brilliance, and then it's nothing. So that's how the game went.
Yeah, and Johnny Evans being the man of the match says a lot about the Man United team.
I
So
mean, they didn't perform well in their Europa League as well. It was a late Maguire substitution that saved
yeah,
them
Harry
a point.
Maguire and Johnny Evans saving Man United.
Yeah.
Which year are we in? I have to cross check again. So yeah, nothing much. Aston Villa again. I don't think this match didn't have much chances. Nothing much to talk about. Rogers played well. Philogene, because I think he's the only player who was fresh from Aston Villa. He looked the most lively and dangerous, and he could have won it right at the end, but his shot hit Dalot and and deflected off target. But yeah, that was the biggest chance of the game, I thought. But nothing much, I think, to talk
Yeah.
about from this game. Yes.
Emery is, I mean, by the looks of it, Emery is sticking with a two up top formation at the moment. So Rogers, it's good news for Rogers. He's taking shots. He's playing alongside Watkins. But
Yeah,
the problem is the wingers and the wing backs. They're either poor or they're injured or they're rotating. I mean, this is affecting the chemistry with the forward players. So that's what Tillemans is good, but the players
yeah.
surrounding him are not, they're not very attacking. And
Telemans looks like their talisman in the midfield. He's really very present at all times in their build-up and in their play, and a very good player. I like him. So, but they have again talking of injuries. Konsa went off injured very early in the game. So as soon as they're going to have Mings and Kamara back, they have Konsa injury. We don't know the extent of it yet, but yeah, an injury nonetheless for Aston Villa that they could have done to avoid, especially with Champions League matches and everything, the schedule as it is, they could do without injuries now. So let's move on to the next game again. If Johnny Evans turned back the years in the Man United game, it was Jordan Pickford's turn in the Everton Newcastle game. Uh, Anthony Gordon against his old club, stepping up to take a penalty, and what a save by Pickford. So Newcastle, I thought were wasteful. Uh, Everton were again without Branthwaite and Mikolenko. I really didn't expect them to keep a clean sheet with their defense, but Newcastle kept missing chances. They hit the post. They did all. They got a lot of chances, but I think Gordon was the culprit who wasted the most chances, I think. And
yeah,
they
they're
clearly
really
lacked a number
missing
nine.
Isak. Yeah, they're really missing Isak up top, and
Yeah,
those two runners, Gordon and Isak, they're very crucial.
yeah.
So,
And
and
this is
Isak is
not,
an excellent finisher.
yeah,
So,
and this is not Gordon's usual position. I mean, he's not a number
uh,
nine. Come on,
yeah.
and he has had a very good season last season, playing on the left with a striker, either Wilson or Isak in the middle. And I don't think this position suits Gordon. He's doing his best, maybe, but this is not his position. So they need a number nine back as soon as possible. They've signed Osula, but I don't know why he doesn't play. I mean, why would you sign a striker if you don't just want him to play at all? I don't get it.
Yeah, good. And he was from Sheffield. Right?
Yeah, Sheffield United. If you remember, you had him in his FPL team game week one last season.
Yeah,
Do you
Gameweek one.
remember? Yeah, he was your 4.5 million non-playing striker.
He
Yeah,
did come on for 1 or 2 points sometimes. Yeah, but
yeah. But again, I don't
Everton,
know. Why would you sign
yeah,
a player you don't want to play?
yeah, Everton were really poor this game. I mean, defensively, like you said, that they were missing two crucial defenders, so they gave up a lot of chances. Even without those defenders, I don't expect a Shondice team to be so open at times.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Everton's defense will click. Sean Dyche being Sean Dyche. If you remember last season, first 10 game weeks, I think Everton were
They had
not keeping clean sheets and had a very torrid start. But after that, they really stepped up. And they are
but they
slow
lost.
starters.
Yeah, they lost two players, right? I mean, Brentford isn't there. They lost Onana. So
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. I think we'll be able to assess them after they play 3, 4 games with their complete defense, with Branthwaite and Mikolenko and everybody being fit and everything. But their attack is still okay. I mean, they did create a couple of good chances. Calvert-Lewin had a very big chance that was created by McNeil, and they have played really well. So they could have scored one, but Newcastle, on the other hand, could have scored multiple goals. But very wasteful from
it
Newcastle.
wasn't a nil-nil game.
Wasn't in the game. Yeah. Let's see. Newcastle again is an avoid in terms of FPL at this point, till they improve or we see something better from them. Leicester Bournemouth. We'll quickly go through it. Again, didn't expect Leicester to win against Bournemouth. Bournemouth were coming off the back of a good good form. The players were in good form. Evanilson, Semenyo, and it would be unfair to say that they didn't put in a performance. I think they did play well. Their attack was good. They hit the post 3 times. Evanilson had a goal ruled out for offside, and Leicester had a total of 3 shots in the game, and they scored. So, and that was also Bonanoto's brilliance. I mean, wonderful goal from Bonanote.
Yeah, Bonata has been good for Leicester. He carries the ball, shoots.
He's a
So
very lively player for Argentina. If you see, I've seen him play. He played for Manchester United couple of times last season, if you
mm.
remember, off the bench. And
uh, Bonanote, he played for Brighton, right?
he played for Brighton. Oh, sorry, yeah, he played for
Yeah,
Brighton. Oh, Pellistri played for
yeah. Pellistri was the one for United. Yeah.
yeah, but a similar kind of players I felt. Yeah, Bonanote, you're correct. He played for Brighton and great goal. I mean, he created another shot like that. I mean, he created another chance out of the 3 shots that Leicester had. Two were from Bonanote. So once he
Mm.
scored and another he created, which was saved by Kepa. And Vardy had a big chance. But yeah, I liked how lively Bonanote was. But Bournemouth certainly didn't deserve to lose this game. They should have finished it
Yeah,
off.
but Leicester is kind of going under the radar. They're improving slowly. It's more of a Steve Cooper type team. It's steady. They're not being run over by other teams. I mean,
But do you really think they're improving? I mean, if
with the team they have,
against,
Saka injured, Vardy, their striker, 37-year-old striker,
yeah,
and
that's true.
the
But their
defense that
defense,
they have.
if you look at the defense, they're conceding so many chances. I mean, they're just lucky not to concede. I don't know how we can,
It's the
say this is
goalkeeper,
down to performance. Yeah, the goalkeeper against Arsenal.
13
Uh,
saves.
yeah, I said it in the last pod in the review. He became Buffon, a prime Buffon. So many saves and so many good saves. Same in this game. Their goalkeeper has prevented an average of 4 goals, as per some stat. I mean, that was crazy. In 7 games, their goalkeeper have prevented 4 goals. So I don't know. That's not normal. So and neither is that sustainable. So and if you watch the match also, it's uh, doesn't feel like Leicester are threatening going forward, and they look pretty vulnerable in the defense. So if
They're not, Leicester is not threatening, but what they can produce is some points of or some certain moments of individual
yeah,
brilliance. It could be Vardy, it could be a set piece goal, it could be a outside of the box shot, but they're not being run over. I don't think so. People had them being relegated at the start of the season. I don't think they get relegated. They can finish like 15th or 16th, but they're
that's a,
not going down.
that's a bold
That's a very thin line.
that's a bold prediction, and we'll have that recorded. We have this recorded, and we'll review this at the end of the season. But I think Leicester get relegated. Although I will really agree with you that they grind out results, even in game week 1, if you remember. Spurs created so many chances, and you thought they'd just win it 2-0, 3-0, but they grinded out a 1-1 draw. And yeah,
This 3 points is huge for them.
yeah, these 3 points are huge because Southampton are not getting anything, Wolves are not getting anything, and to get a win is huge. And I think the next game, Leicester versus Southampton, if they can win that as well, uh, then they really do have a shot at staying up. So yeah, I think that's all from the Leicester Bournemouth, and that's all from this game week's fixtures and the results. The game week 8 fixtures will cover as part of our FPL preview pod uh, that will come out a couple of days before the deadline. And we'll come out with another pod in between with a little bit of uh, look ahead to the fixtures from this game week till the it's from this international break till the next international break, and the fixture congestion that is going to ensue upon us post the international break. So we'll be reviewing the teams in the Champions League and the Europa League and the Carabao Cup fixtures and how they affect um our picks in terms of FPL and the teams in general. So that pod will come out with probably by next early next week, and then we'll come out with an game week 8 preview in terms of FPL. So that's all for this one. Anything from your end, Shourab?
No, I'm good. It was quite a good discussion.
Yeah. So good to have you back also on this pod. So thank you so much, guys. We'll catch you again later in the week, early next week rather. And as usual, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do like and subscribe to our channel. Drop in a comment, give us your feedback, interact with us. We'd really love that. If you're listening to us on the audio platforms, you can follow our podcast, and you can always reach out to us on our socials on X, Instagram, or Threads. We are available at FooTea Fantasy, the same ID everywhere, and you can interact with us and give us your feedbacks there as well. So that is it from us today. Thank you, and we'll catch you next week again.
Thanks for joining.